Matthew.
Thanks a lot. On accountability, which Argentina and some others raised, first I wanted to ask you about General Amisi. There's been this rehabilitation of him into the Army without apparently any investigation of his past acts being done. And also on Minova, I wanted to know if since the mere two convictions for those 130 rapes, if any steps have been taken by MONUSCO to either suspend support to the 41st and 391st battalions, or what else? And the final thing was about this flying of the FDLR leader, the flying, I believe, from Eastern Congo to Kinsasha. I know that Rwanda made a complaint to the Sanctions Committee. According to them, they haven't received any explanation or response to how this was consistent with the spirit of the sanctions to have flown him, and why this flight was undertaken before any permission was sought or obtained from the committee. Thanks.
Now, we have a very clear policy on accountability. As far as the force is concerned, the FARDC is concerned, of course, we have the human rights due diligence policy. Everybody who is responsible for grave human rights violations or human rights violations has to be brought to justice. You mentioned Minova, and this is, of course, something where I understand the disappointment of the victims. 39 soldiers who were allegedly involved in Minova were accused, and only a few then were convicted at the end. Only 2 soldiers of rapes. 14 officers were acquitted. 3 were convicted of murder and 2 of rapes. 89 rape victims were heard as witnesses during the Minova. Technically, it is our assessment the legal proceedings went well. However, it was not done on a thorough investigation. So the judges, so to say, had no choice. Every American judge also would have decided on the basis of the proof they have in the same way. So technically, legally, it was okay. However, there was a grave mistake in the investigations. There was just not enough proof. That's why, while it was okay legally, it's a disappointment to the victims. And I can understand this disappointment. As far as your other question was, yes, the flying. As far as the flying is concerned, it was very clear. We had the meeting in Sant'Egidio. This was in Rome, and FDLR, part of the FDLR leadership, they were also invited by Sant'Egidio to go to Rome. We transported these people from the middle of the Kivus to Kinshasa. One of the members of this delegation was on the sanctions list. The sanctions list of the sanctions committee of the Security Council had a 24 hours period to say no. Then they said no, and we transported this one individual back from Kinshasa, where he was supposed to get his papers and a visa for Italy, but it did not happen, and we transported him back to where he came from.
Was he in custody? I mean, I think there's an arrest warrant out for him in Rwanda.
There is no arrest warrant. I'm not aware of an arrest warrant for this individual, but he was on the sanctions list. That's why this was a good procedure to ask the sanctions committee, do you allow him to travel? It was very transparent. Do you allow him to travel to Rome for this meeting? Sanctions committee said no, and we transported him back to the bush.